Hey guys, it's Mikhail Lewis again, back with another video, and I'm excited to share this topic with y'all. It's all about the things I wish I knew before I started lifting. And honestly, if I knew these things, my progress would be let's just say I would be a lot more bigger than I am now, but I'm happy to share these things so you all don't make these same mistakes I made as a beginner. So the first topic I want to discuss is all about low training frequency. So let me give you an example. I was once that bro who would hit chest on Monday. I mean, who wouldn't? It was International Chest Day after all. The following day I'll hit shoulders. Next day I'll hit bicep. The next day would be tricep, legs, and back. And so I'd hit each muscle group once per week, and I'd give myself 6 to 7 days to recover before I hit those muscle groups again. However though, your muscles can take up to 48 to 72 hours to recover. Therefore, a much better approach to training would be hitting each muscle group twice per week, which would lead to more gains, as long as your other contributing factors such as intensity, volume, total caloric intake, sleep, recovery, stress management is all on point. You would just get better gains. So Mikhail, since you said training each muscle group twice per week is better than once per week, why don't I just train each muscle group 3 times per week or even 4 times per week? Shouldn't this just equal more gains then? Well guys, no. Just like everything in life, there's a point where diminishing returns happen. And this could even be detrimental to your gains. Don't do this. Twice per week is good enough. The second thing I wish I knew was going balls to the walls with crazy intensity every single session is detrimental towards your gains. I was a huge culprit of this. I got into the powerlifting movement, so the big 3 compounds, the squat, the bench, and the deadlift. And I kid you not, every other training session, or basically like every week, I would go into the gym and try to pull a 1 rep max or bench a 1 rep max or even squat a 1 rep max. I did have a lot of success in this, and part of the reason why I did is because I was a newbie, but it reached a point where I got to big numbers. So I think I got up to maybe 535 pounds on deadlift, 4 plates on squat, and even around 285 on bench. And it reached a point where hitting PRs above those numbers, it just wasn't sustainable. So after around 1.5 years of lifting, something clicked, and I got really clever with my training, and I started training based on how I felt. A scientific term to describe this way of training is called auto-regulated training. Without trying to make this sound complicated, auto-regulated training is training based on how you felt. So for example, there would be training sessions where I would go into and I would feel well recovered, my nutrition was great, no emotional stresses, well recovered, high energy, and on those days I would be able to push my body much harder. Then there would be days where I feel under recovered, maybe my nutrition wasn't good. Prior to that training session, I had really hard training sessions, so I would go into that training session, I'd have to go a lot easier, and that's because my body just wasn't primed to go hard. And let me just tell you, since I've adopted training like this, I still have progress. In fact, I think my progress is better and I just don't feel like crap. However though, I do think there's a disadvantage to training in an auto-regulated way. And I just think not everyone could train based on how they feel. As Eric Helms put it, he's a well-known fitness expert in the industry, but he once said that it takes a unique combination of self-awareness, aggression, self-control, patience, drive, and humility, and experience to be successful training based on how you feel. In my personal experience, I think once you're dedicated and consistent with your training, as well as you acquire the basic fundamental knowledge of training, the more you train in an auto-regulated way, the better you get at it. Also, I do think introducing RPE into your training can improve your ability to train in an auto-regulated way. RPE is used to quantify your perceived exertion during exercise, and is based on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being the lowest exertion and 10 being the highest exertion. But I could save this topic for another video. Let me know in the comment section if you'd like to see it. Anyways, the takeaway from this point is that you shouldn't be training balls to the walls with crazy intensity in every single training session as a natural lifter. But Mikhail, why do these IFBB pros train with a high volume and they get progress? Well guys, they are simply on PEDs and their rate of recovery is much faster than a natural lifter. So we're at my third and last point now, and that's simply just don't go crazy with the training volume. This is a big one. I come across way too many guys that do way too much volume in the gym. And I mean, I know exactly what they think. More volume, more gains, right? I mean, I wished it worked like that, but it doesn't. I mean, you do get a better pump, but a better pump does not equate to more gains. I even found myself culprit of doing too much volume at many given periods. So there are individuals out there who are predisposed to handle more volume than others, or it can simply be down to training experience or better recovery management. Then at the same time, there's people who do way less volume than individuals and they experience the same gains or even more gains than that person who does way more volume. In most cases though, I do think many people end up doing way too much volume for their given recovery management, and they end up coming into training sessions feeling under recovered and sore, and it ends up being a vicious cycle, and at the end they end up losing out on gains or they even lose gains. So what I would suggest to beginners is to start off in the lower end of volume, and if you're training each muscle group twice per week, or if you're about to take my advice and train each muscle group twice per week, you should aim for around 10 working sets per week in the 6 to 20 rep range. When I say 10 working sets, I don't mean warm-up sets, I mean working sets. Even if you aren't a beginner and you've been in lockdown like we have been in Canada, when gyms reopen, this is a great starting point to see where your volume capacity is at. Or maybe if you've been training for over 2 to 3 years, maybe move those 10 working sets up to 12 working sets. And eventually, if you plateau, as in you can't increase the weights, or you can't increase the amount of reps you're doing at that same weight, and as long as you're being optimal with the other contributing factors such as your form, your sleep, your caloric intake, etc., this will be a good indicator for you to increase your volume. So what's the takeaway from this point? Just don't overdo it with volume. It could be detrimental towards your gains. Forget the pump. Anyways guys, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed making this one and I had to put a lot of effort into it. So if you could leave a like and subscribe to help me out, that would be really nice. Anyways, peace.